Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 60, 62, 61, 63, 64. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance. Okay. Maurice is our statistician.
Yes, 62.
62. We're at the Alliance live show number 62. Welcome. I'm glad to be joined by my compatriot, my brother from another mother, good old Maurice. How you doing today, bud?
Good, good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, doing good. So, as some of you may notice, it's not Sunday night. It's Monday night. And the reason we did that was because Maurice was a bad, bad boy. And he had things going on Sunday night. And he couldn't make it to the stream. No, we actually were both out of town. And it just didn't work out last night. I was actually thinking of a way to kind of let everybody know that, but it didn't. I didn't think making a video just telling everybody we were going to do it on Monday night was worth it. So here we are, and we have some interesting things to discuss, Maurice. So obviously we've seen the addition of a few new characters. There's the new ship Houndstooth. We're going to take a look at that. I've actually made a video about that earlier this week. There's also the new character, the new bounty hunter, Aurra Sing. And also there was a rework to Cad Bane. Did you notice any of these things, Maurice?
Yes. Yes, I did. Cad Bane got a fancy new icon as well. It's his head slightly to the side, so you get a nice profile shot of him now. Cad Bane looks pretty cool. Aurra Sing looks like a phenomenal raid character. Houndstooth looks like it's going to be a meta ship. We got a couple of them in the arena. You got booted offline, man.
I think we're back on.
All right. But yeah, all these characters look good. I mean, everything they've done. I mean, everything's got a place. I think Houndstooth will be a meta ship. It's just, it might take us a few months to get there. Sing looks like a great raid character. Cad Bane looks like basically a bounty hunter version of, Raid Han. He looks great. Pretty cool mechanics. Add just slight little tweaks to his kit. Made him so much better. Overall, just the bounty hunter faction is really filling out. It's very, very, very tough faction now. You can build two teams with them. Just have a random fifth on one of the teams. They got, I think, 9 bounty hunters now. So it's all coming together. It's coming together pretty quickly too.
So have you tried Aurra Sing out at all?
I have not tried Aurra Sing at all. It's too much going on otherwise, and just I'm not going to purchase the character out of the marquees myself, and I don't really see me being able to use her at 3-star. She doesn't really improve any of my teams at 3 and 4-star, but once I get her 7-star, I'm gonna be using her. She'll be gear 12. Like using her as much as I can in all of the raids.
Okay. So now, are you guys hearing the audio from the game? Okay, it's not too loud or overpowering our conversation, right?
I'll ask in the chat here too.
But
all right.
Yeah. As far as the characters are concerned, I got to mess around with Houndstooth quite a bit because I made a video about it. But as far as the Aurra Sing is concerned, I really didn't mess around with her too much, especially since she's primarily a raid character, and that's really where most of it is going to be beneficial. I mean, most of her kit is going to be beneficial inside of that Sith raid. And we can try to see if we can do a little bit of practice today. I think we may be able to dive into a Rancor raid and just try her out. I've seen some clips of her doing over 500k damage. Have you seen that in these videos?
Oh yeah, she crushes Traya in P3 of the Sith raid. Just destroys her. Just so much. Just a huge improvement over the Chex Mix team that we've all been using for months now. So it would be nice to have an alternate option, especially for newer players. They're coming into the game, they don't have to really focus on the Chex Mix team. They can just work on this, the Sing team right out of the gate. So instantly it's going to make the raid a lot easier for guilds trying to make that hurdle. Yeah.
Is her kit specifically anti-Sith, or is it that she just happens to do well in that particular phase of the raid because of some mechanic with Darth Treya?
It's any raid mechanic. It's her special move.
She just
That
doesn't.
basically just grants massive damage against any toppled opponent. And the only thing you can topple currently in the game, and it says in the ability, are raid bosses. You got like the tank, the actual tank itself in the tank raid, P2 and P4. You've got the Rancor P2 and P3. Where you knock the box down, the gate comes and disables him. That's a topple. Then also Treya in P3 of the Sith raid. So all sorts of areas you can use her. All the raids you can use her in.
So is it one specific attack that does all that damage, or
yes,
is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. You're leveling her up here. Just hit I believe it is the snipers move there. You'll see it when you level up the abilities. It's basically just grants massive damage to toppled opponents, and I believe it refreshes the cooldown as well, so you can just tap. I have no experience with the character myself. I've only seen you guys use them in the videos, and we'll see tonight how much damage she actually does. But I mean, right now we're looking at Chex Mixes, the teams that even the very best Chex Mix teams are topping out at 2.2, 2.5 million. I really haven't seen too many scores higher than that. I'm sure there are, but just from what I've seen, that's pretty much the ceiling of that team. This team, when modded properly, once people figure out the correct 5 to use, it's going to have a way higher ceiling than anything we currently have.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing like what she could do. I mean, she's got a ton of damage capabilities in raids, which is cool. But again, we've been talking, and I made a video also yesterday about upcoming possible legendary characters, and my thought process was that we could be getting something.
We lose you, man.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I was thinking we get something something bounty hunter related. So if we do get, let's say, a Jango Fett, let's say, legendary character, or a Jango Fett hero's journey, or I doubt we'll get a hero's journey for Jango Fett, but if we get a legendary Jango Fett, I mean, Aurra Sing could be a key component to a Jango Fett squad. So in the raids, does she have to be a leader?
No, she can be. I mean, her leader gives offense while stealth, and then basically all the bounty hunter attackers, which I guess in P3 you're going to use all attackers. There are 5 bounty hunter attackers, I believe, because you get the passive bonuses from each unit type in that specific phase. She gives 30% offense when stealth, so everyone's going to be stealth at the beginning of the battle. And then if you do complete the contract, all bounty hunters gain 50% counter chance and recover 25% protection and turn meter when an enemy is defeated. I guess the sabers do count when you defeat them. You'll get turn meter and protection regained. But it's basically just the sniper's expertise. I personally don't know what the best leader for this specific P3 will be. But sniper's expertise. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. But if the target's toppled, this attack deals 200% more damage, and this ability's cooldown is reset. So you can just constantly spam this. Not to mention she self-buffs herself, right? So in like P3 with the Chex Mix team, you want to do the crit chance up from Han. Here you can self-buff herself. It gets her crit chance up and offense up for 3 turns. And if she stealths, she gets to go again. So that's 3 turns you'll have during the topple with offense up and crit chance up. Not to mention all the damage you're getting from standalone during that topple. So there's potential for massive damage, just real quickly, and hopefully with less RNG than that's Chex Mix. It's a great team, but we're going in there. Sometimes it takes 10, 15, 20 times even to get it set up properly. You get all your buffs right, and certain characters don't get isolated, don't get staggered, whatever it may be. So hopefully this team's a little easier in terms of RNG and quicker to get in there and get your damage and get out.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. I'm just trying to figure out some decent mods here. I don't really have a great set here to pick for her, so I'm just gonna go with a crit damage primary here. Okay. It doesn't look like I have the 4th offense mod that I need to complete that set. So
Yeah, Zachary Robinson makes a good point. If you do have Bosk, he'll be the only tank, right? So he'll be the only one not stealthed. So he'll get isolated every time because he'll be the only one that she can actually target. So that is a good point. You have 4 attackers in a tank if you want to speed up the RNG part of it.
So if you have Bosk, she'll get isolated every time?
Well, it's just because, you know, part of the checks mix run is like if your Han gets isolated, you have to retreat, try again. If a certain character gets isolated, you have to retreat, try again. If you have Bosk and Aura's lead gives stealth to all attackers, all the attacker roles. So all the characters will accept Bosk because you'll use like Boba Fett, who's an attacker, Greedo, who's an attacker, and then another attacker. Maybe Embo is an attacker. I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know. I know Cad Bane's a support, but use 4 attacker role bounty hunters and then Boss. So they'll all be stealth except for Boss. So he'll get isolated and just take all the damage because everybody else will just be stealth. So that's an option. Just for maybe for the stream purposes, if you do have access to P3, that might be a good option just to get in there and show it instead of having to retreat, try again, retreat, try again.
All right, that should be okay.
Dengar's an attacker as well, yeah. Sounds like Zachary Robinson's already running this team.
Sounds like Zachary Robinson's already, got this team. Yeah. Okay, let's get in here. Again, I can't really advance to P3 right now.
But if you want to look at just what it does exactly in a topple scenario, I think the Rancor is probably going to be your easiest bet. Yeah, because it looks like everything's in P1. You also have to burn through P1 of the tank raid, but you should be able to do that pretty quick.
Is it the Rancor raid?
Rancor is probably going to be the quickest access that we have to a topple mechanic for the purpose of the stream, unless you want to.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go into
your game changer buddies and have everybody burned out to P3 of the raid real quick.
Okay, so let's do a Bosk lead.
Or you burn through P1 at the tank raid. You're gonna have to go through P1 in any of the raids to get there.
Okay, let me get Aurra Sing up here. Did I already pass her? Okay, I'm just gonna go to bounty hunters here. Make life easier. Okay, and should I keep Boba in here, Greedo, or which one should I take out? Because I'm going to put Embo in there.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, if you got Embo, let's show off Embo too, right? Yeah. But Zachary makes a point. Dengar does have stealth bonus damage. I've got some brushed up to do on my bounty hunters here. Yeah, I'm slowly getting them myself. I just don't. Certain ones like Dengar, I just kind of got all the bare minimum to beat those dark side TB missions.
Take out Boba. You're right, Zachary. That's what I did. So here we go. Okay, so first, let's get that guy out of here.
I'd imagine with all Gear 12 Zeta characters, you're gonna burn through this. I mean, this. Yeah, just for the viewers, we're just trying to get to the quickest topple mechanic that we can to kind of show off what she actually does. Just unfortunately, the Sith raid he has open is in P1 and no one's hit it, so I don't think even with the dev account you can burn through all the way through P1 and P2, especially not in 30-45 minutes. I remember when Dengar, prior to this bounty hunter claim to fame, had a small window of viability for that specific reason you just saw there. He had speed down. You can speed down. He actually could solo the Rancor. He was one of the very first Rancor solo characters. He was on a lot of teams. And then CLS came out and just ruined the party for everybody.
So basically, what we're doing here is, again, we're just trying to get to the topple mechanic here, so we can see how much damage that Aurra Sing can really do against the Rancor. And it seems like, we're getting through pretty fast, so we should be able to get there. Look at that, 3, was that 4 straight attacks there from Greedo?
Yeah, you're just melting him now. I tell you what, Aurra just popped him for, what, 31k on a basic. That's pretty impressive.
Should I try the sniper attack anyway and just see what it does? Let's see.
Might as well. I mean, because I'm learning on the fly with you, man. I've never used this character.
38k, not bad. Okay, let's just do some tenacity down. I'd imagine he's gonna have to, he's gonna have to regen his buddies here, his other Gamorreans, pretty soon. 43k there. I mean, they do a lot of damage.
You probably just popped him for 70k on that assist attack, easy. It's just, you saw a bunch of 15, 15, 11, 11, 11. Tell you what, with all these double tapping characters, Embo lead is pretty enticing. That Dengar rework, you got Embo, you got Boba Fett who double taps, all the counters. In TW, anytime you use a bounty hunter and they crit, they cleanse themselves. So I mean, all those 3 characters mentioned have 2 opportunities to crit. So I mean, it's going to be real hard to stick debuffs on any of these guys. For never using this team and not really, taking 3 hours to mod them, you're burning through this P1.
I mean, this is this used to be end game content a long time ago, circa 2016. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're getting through this pretty quickly here. So, but yeah, I mean, I like the mechanics. I like Embo a lot. Again, these for the raids, these characters are fantastic. Let me taunt there. What's cool too is that we're really kind of keeping all
poor 88. No one's really talking about my poor 88 in these teams. Poor guy.
We're really kind of keeping a lot of the focus on Bosk and
Jon Snow. I remember one team absolutely.
And he's pretty much absorbing all of the damage and all of the debuffs. So I mean, he also cleanses with his taunt. So like momentarily here we'll be taunting again with Bosk, and he'll cleanse that.
All right, while you're doing this, Sam Tillett asked a question. We can kind of answer here. Who are you all farming? I am farming Kira. Well, Kira actually just finished Kira, so I moved on to L3. Then farming all the young Lando, the Vandor Chewie. That would take me 8 months to finish him. Then Bosk. I am actually refreshing Bosk's node, and then once I finish him, I'll move on to Range Trooper, who I really want. It's just the dark side is so heavy right now. The only person I have left in light side to farm is Rose Tico, so I farm her exactly 3 times a day to get that to get the daily done. And then it's on to those all dark side hard nodes.
All right, so here's the deal. We have our contracts up, everything, and here's a toppled Rancor. We're about to use this ability here, Sniper's Expertise, and this should do a decent amount of damage. So let's see what happens here. Oh, what was that? 120? Was that a million or was that 122K?
I'm a few seconds behind here. I'll see it. And now, next time it's her turn, it should be cooled down. You should be able to use it immediately again.
That's
so.
Cool.
That is 1.2 million.
1.2 million damage? Oh my god! That's nuts. 1.2 million, I think. I'm gonna try it again. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about P3, I mean, I'm sure the defense and the armor and stuff's a little higher on Freya, but right, if that 1.2 translates to P3 the same way, you hit her twice, and that's
they're saying it was 122K. I'll try again now. We'll see.
Slow motion.
That might have been 123K.
Okay, I'm just getting a little overexcited. Sorry. But,
I don't know. I mean, you know, I want to look at it again later, but yeah, that looked like 100K, not a million. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of numbers. So I mean, I could see it getting. Yeah, it was 100.
It's K. It's K. It's 123K.
Okay, so it's available again now too. So we're gonna use it one more time here. 118K.
Yeah,
That's okay. Yeah, you're right. Do it on one-time speed. Okay, so next time we get the topple, I'll do it on one-time speed. It's if we get a topple. You know, it looks like yeah, the Rancor is going to start to do. Okay, so let's reduce it to.
Apologies, I got a little excited there.
Let's reduce it to one-time speed here and see what happens. 113K, yeah. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, Zach Robinson says it is the standalone that takes it into the mill, especially with even if you use Boss, you have 4 attackers there, so you'll get even more bonus offense. I think it's 100% offense for each attacker. I could be wrong. I don't have one open to look, but it definitely is 120-something K. I apologize for getting a little overly excited there.
You don't have to apologize, man. That's cool.
That's about fell out of my chair.
I was excited too. I mean, you know, it looked like a million damage. I mean, that'd be nuts. But I was thinking it might be possible with the Rancor versus Treya. You know, the Rancor probably has less armor than Treya. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. So.
What is that? You got a new subscriber.
Oh yeah, I put like a thing. I put like a thing. So like whenever a new subscriber comes on, there's like a little video that plays like a cat with a lightsaber fight. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, you guys are firing off some questions. I am collecting them. We'll answer questions at the end of the stream. So if you guys do have questions, go ahead and type them in. I'll grab them up.
Okay, let's keep. He's gonna get to Devour pretty soon, and we're like nowhere near another topple.
Yeah, perhaps this isn't a Rancor solo team, but.
Okay, we were able to reduce the turn meter there. Need to see the kitty.
Donated $2 Canadian, which translates to about 37 cents in US dollars. Says needs to see the kitty.
You want to see the kitty? You gotta unsubscribe and then subscribe to the channel again.
Yep. You probably shouldn't have suggested that because now everyone watching is going to do that. We're just gonna.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't eaten anybody. There you go.
You're getting all fancy with all the graphics and stuff. All right.
You like that, right?
Yeah, you get fancy.
Yeah,
kitty cats and zombies. I'm sure he'll devour Aurra Sing just because that's who we're trying to showcase here.
Of course, that's exactly who will devour is Aurra Sing. All right, let's. No.
Yeah, everybody's just subscribing now. There you go.
That's awesome, right?
There's your kitty.
Reduce his turn meter. I mean, we're getting there. You know, I'm kind of surprised that they've lasted this long.
Let's see here.
He's definitely devouring somebody like right now. Bosk is going. That's for sure.
So. But I tell you what, I mean, you got him in 6 turns. Rancor's taking 6 turns. You've almost melted him. I mean, before he even devours once. So that's with proper modding. I mean, this could be a do-it-all type of raid team. You could solo the Rancor with it. You know, you could do significant damage to the tank.
No, not Greedo. Not Greedo. No. Okay.
Take Dengar. Come on, man. Take Dengar.
Take Dengar. Not Greedo. Okay. At least it wasn't Aurra Sing. You know, she lives to topple the tank and topple the Rancor again. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't gotten to another topple yet. I mean, normally when you do it, you know, you get at least 2 topples in a phase, and it seems like we're not even close to another topple. But all right, so we're gonna keep just hacking away here. I think that's pretty soon. Pretty soon we're going to get to the next phase here. We're only 18% away from phase 3. So we should be able to topple the Rancor again when we get there. 16%. Yeah, the Rancor just doesn't do that much damage to these guys, especially when they have their contracts out.
Well, I mean,
thank you for the
Rancor is 3 years old too.
Yeah, thank you for the donation to Smoke and Team Money. Very much appreciated. Okay, let's keep working on him. Come on, don't get that Devour going. We don't want that. The problem is that Greedo was our one source of like a turn meter reduction.
Yeah.
You know, and that's pretty much done now at this point. Oh no, he ate Dengar!
Oh no, Dengar!
Not Dengar! Alright, so we're gonna survive with Aurra to the next phase. And the Rancor's going down. Okay. Phase 3. Smoke, again, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. What did he say? TS, can you accept my guild request, please? Okay, let's see. Let's go for the topple here, like right off the bat. Bang. And now we're just going to kick this guy. Okay, so here we go. Sniper's expertise. 124k.
There you have it. The bounty hunters will get you to P3 in the Rancor raid.
Yes. Again, we're gonna go. It's one-time speed here. 120K. Team Money, thank you.
Smoke also donated an additional $2.
Smoke, thank you very much.
You guys are more than welcome. You guys are more than welcome to argue with the super chat. That's more than acceptable.
That's absolutely fine. I can't believe we used to play the game at this speed. Alright, so we're going to do it again. Sniper's expertise. Bang, 114K.
And keep in mind, this could be amped up considerably with proper mods. You know, I mean, you monitor pretty much on the fly with your leftovers. You know, so I mean, if you take the time and actually modder, you know, as a main character, she will. She's got some pop.
She definitely has some pop.
You know, the big question though is it worth investing in a character to increase your raid score? You know, I mentioned earlier, to newer players, they have an option now to go Aurra Sing. I mean, eventually she will be farmable, so you'll have that option right away to use her in place of, you know, whoever you're using. You don't have to do the Chex Mix team. Like, let's say you're a newer player, and for some reason you just want to bypass CLS. You know, it's not the best advice to give, but if you do have an option now for P3 without CLS, Turret, and I mean, even Raid Han. You don't need to use Raid Han either. You can use them in other areas of the raid. But that's going to be interesting to see. You know, when people do have access to Sing and they replace the Chex Mix team, where they'll use CLS, Raid Han, Turret. You know, Death Trooper now, you can put them back with your Imperial Troopers for another Death Mark team, so that's going to be phenomenal, especially now with Range Trooper. You can do some real damage in P2 now if you have Death Trooper.
Oh, yeah.
Together. But that's, I mean, you got a whole new P2 team, honestly. So really, I mean, if you invest in Sing for P3, is it worth it? You know, I don't know. I mean, if it can get you into the top 10 of the raid and get those much better boxes, then possibly. And then on the other hand, it gives you an additional Death Trooper team, which Death Trooper is the king of the Sith raid. Like, I mean, he's great. Death Mark is unbelievable for the Sith raid, and taking him off a Chex Mix team just will grant you damage somewhere else that you don't have right now. 'Cause, I mean, you can bring in your leftover troopers and maybe get 1 million in P2. I mean, you throw Death Trooper back on there, and you got 2 million easy with what you have, especially Range Trooper. Range Trooper is going to be awesome. I can't wait to have him.
Oh, me too. I love Range Trooper.
I'm using him 4-star like Gear 9 at TW right now, and beating down some people with Range Trooper. He's only doing 1,200 damage, but it's just everything else he brings. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, Range Trooper's fantastic. By the way, DSP, thank you very much for the donation. He said he's giving us real money, not the Canadian money. All the money is real, so I appreciate any donation from anybody, of course, even if it's a penny. But as far as that goes, I thank you very much for that. Yeah, I mean, as far as these characters are concerned, as far as like making an investment in a raid character specifically is concerned, it's going to depend on what your favorite part of this game is. And there are different types of players. Like, some players are specifically raid centric. Like, that's why they play this game. They love diving into the mechanics of a raid and figuring out, you know, what the trick teams are, and what the best ways are to kind of, you know, maneuver through certain phases of the raid, and trying to figure out the new raid bosses. And then there's people that they don't really even care about raids. Their whole purpose for playing this game is for arena and PvP, and that's why they play. And for those players, some of these characters may not be worth an investment. But for the players that want to, want to get the high scores in P3, then yeah, I mean, of course, a character like Aurra Sing is going to help you get there. It just depends. I mean, like, there are guys out there that bought Rose Tico. You know, I think Maurice was thinking about buying Rose Tico.
No. Maurice is farming Rose Tico 3 clicks at a time for the rest of eternity. that's what I'm doing. Not that she's a bad character. She's definitely a supplemental character for very high GP players, but she's got a use. I mean, all these characters now, they have a use. So they really, really do. With the exception of maybe like Mob Enforcer and Ugnaught. I mean, but for the most part, any character they've come out with in the last year are viable somewhere. I mean, because a lot of these factions now have 9, 10, even more characters, and you can build 2 teams out of them. And so Rose Tico on a Ray team is great. I mean, double taps can expose twice. You know, she even fits under a Finn team okay. I mean, just they all have a use. Range Trooper, you know, all the First Order characters, they're all usable. Even Phasma, you know, so I mean, they all have a spot, especially in TW. TW forces us to use all of our characters, and so it's just you got to get creative with it. There are enough characters now to.
Aurra Sing did 2.9 million, 2.95 million in that raid. It's just she did. We did 7 million damage. We got like halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through P3. So again, I mean, you know, that's you know, if we really wanted to go with turn meter reduction, you know, I could have ran a CLS Elite, just put Aurra Sing in there as a 5th. We wanted to kind of go in there with a full bounty hunter team, run Embo and Bosk, and just kind of see how they work together. So it was a lot of fun, and again, you know, her main focus, her main skill set is really she strives in P3 of that Sith raid. So you know, we didn't have the ability to fast forward into P3, but this was the closest to an ability to showcase, you know, how much damage she can do to a toppled raid boss, and that was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. So we're gonna move along here, and now that we're done with that, we're gonna go into some. We're gonna go to the meta report, and then we're gonna dive into the some Houndstooth play after this. I'll do some Houndstooth gameplay afterwards, and maybe some arena. We'll take some arena suggestions, but we'll also get to the Q&A segment of this here momentarily after this top 5. So if you guys have any questions that you'd like asked on the stream, any topics you'd like to discuss, you know, please type them into the chat, and you know, we'll get those discussed here momentarily. Again, thank you for everybody coming out here Monday night for this stream with me and Maurice. We appreciate you guys you know, coming out to show some support. And what I want to say here by looking at the meta report is that, again, there's not much change, but Bastila Shan has surpassed Rey Jedi training. We kind of felt like it would happen, and it has. So what are your thoughts about that? Is everybody using Bastila on your chart?
Not really. I mean, they are, but most of the Bastila teams are down in the 20 to 50 range. It's a lot of them, but this doesn't surprise me at all, because this is a character that you can instantly just throw in at 3-4 star with any Jedi that you have, and have a competitive team. It's just, she's a great character. Her leadership ability is among the best in the game, especially for offense. You can burn through about anybody with the right strat and mod setup, even Traya. So not shocking at all.
So Bastila takes out Rey Jedi training. That's pretty huge. I'm using Bastila in tandem with Darth Traya, so I'm kind of switching back and forth between the two based upon what my opponent is. You know, if I'm facing an opponent in let's say a Palpatine team, I'm using Bastila. If I'm facing another Bastila team, I'm using Bastila. If I'm facing a Traya team, then I have to use Traya to do it back, because a lot of the Traya teams that I face on my shard are also running Traya with, you know, either Sith Trooper and then also Enfys Nest, and you kind of need to have a Nihilus in there in order to take out their Nihilus or their Enfys Nest, especially if you're you know, trying to go for, let's say, Grand Admiral Thrawn or Scion first. So it's that's typically what I'm doing in my arena shard. But yeah, you can see again, Palpatine is still dominating the charts, although I see him being used less and less. So over time, I'm sure he'll continue to drop. Darth Traya continues to work her way up, probably surpassing Commander Luke Skywalker. I would say by the, I'd say mid-September, you know, we're going to be looking at, you know, it just being Traya and Palpatine at the top, and then eventually just Treya as more and more people unlock her. We do see Wedge Antilles is at number 10 in the top 10, which is pretty interesting there as well. But other than that, not a huge ton of action. Just really that main change is that Rey Jedi Training has been surpassed and now moves down to the 5th most used leader in Arena behind Bastila, which is kind of interesting. But that's the top 10 leaders at rank 1. Now moving along to the top 10 squad members at rank 1. Grand Admiral Thrawn behind Emperor Palpatine. Darth Vader right there, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, CLS, R2-D2, Han Solo, Grand Moff Tarkin, and Darth Treya at the end there makes the top 10 squad members at rank 1 at rank 10. So she is going to slowly work her way up that list as well. Are you seeing Darth Treya used more as a leader in your arena, or are you seeing her used more as a support character?
It's about 50-50. You know, the guys with the better mods are running Treya lead. But if you don't have, you know, top, 25 percentile-ish mods in your arena, Palpatine kind of gives you a little leeway there with all the turn meter and stuff. So both. But I mean, every Sith team in my shard has Treya now. I mean, I'm in a December 2015 shard, so everyone has her. It's interesting to see. Some people are using, like you mentioned, Sith Trooper. Other people are like myself. I'm not using Sith Trooper. I'm using Thrawn and Nest. And some people maybe a grab bag of maybe 9 different characters. There's one guy that's using Savage, which is interesting. That team's pretty annoying, actually, the Savage, because the Savage is actually pretty decent, because if you can get that Nest down below 50% health, he just wipes her out. So the Savage has a little bit of a use now, especially in TW. Savage is kind of handy, because Nest, what happens is you get the team down, the Nest just keeps regenerating health steal, all that madness. But if you get it clocked properly and time it properly, Savage goes in and just wipes her out. So there's one guy that's using Savage. I might try it myself. But pretty much Palpatine, Treya, Sion, Nihilus, and then Sith Trooper, Thrawn, or Nest. Pretty much the gist of it.
Okay.
We don't even see Nest. Nest isn't even on the top 10 squad members. That's interesting.
That is kind of interesting, right? Being that she's such a popular character.
And usable at 3-star. I mean, that is interesting.
Yeah, you think, especially with all the... I mean, I was running her for a little while with my Treya team. I think that there is a loss in viability when you're facing against like Treya squads. I think because of Nihilus and some of these other characters, she becomes a little bit less of a danger or a threat. When you're facing against, Rey Jedi Training teams, when you're facing against, Bastila teams, some of these other squads that can't just straight up take out a Nest unless you get a high damage attack, like some sort of, mega jugular attack right to, Nest, like some sort of 100k crit with Grandmaster Yoda, then she becomes a really dangerous character. But I think when you were putting her up against, likes of like Darth Sion and Nihilus, and in some cases, Grand Admiral Thrawn, who's able to fracture her, she becomes a little bit less useful on those teams, so or against those teams. So, but yeah, I am kind of surprised that she's not on here ahead of, let's say, Grand Moff Tarkin, for example. So, that'll always puzzle me. And Grand Moff Tarkin is not even at the end of the list anymore. He's actually ahead of Treya. Grand Moff Tarkin is a more commonly used character in rank 1 squad members than Darth Treya right now.
I think you and I are just missing something. I think we're missing.
You guys, just to let you guys know out there, okay, Darth Treya is used less in rank 1 teams than Grand Moff Tarkin. Okay, so whatever you guys are doing out there, you're doing it wrong. Go Tarkin or go home.
There are at least 3,019 players that are better than me at this game.
There are at least 3,019 players out there that understand something that we don't, and there is some secret, Grand Moff Tarkin team out there that we're just unaware of, and I want to know what it's about. So, Now let's move on to the top 5 for this week. This week we're doing top 5 light side territory battle Zetas. Last week we did top 5 dark side territory battle Zetas. We do have a light side territory battles coming up here, so we feel that this is kind of a relevant time to do this.
Well, we did. They canceled it. As soon as I made this list, they made a post and they're canceling it this time around. So
they're canceling light side territory battles. That doesn't mean that you can't prepare for it correctly. Okay, so what that means is if you're getting ready for upcoming dark side territory battles, and you haven't necessarily gotten to the point where you're getting 45 stars every time, and you still have some missing components. Some of these characters here, maybe the characters you want to invest a Zeta in to help you get there going forward. A lot of you, I'm sure, are already there, but this is definitely to help out some of those people that aren't necessarily there yet. Now, let's move on to number 5. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Oh, number 5. I'm stalling while I pull it up. Number 5 is going to be...
It's R2-D2.
Okay, thank you. now I'm caught up. R2-D2 number crunch. This Zeta consistently makes almost all the lists. It's still one of the best Zetas in the game. Just adds tons of offense, and health, and protection, just all sorts of stats to your team. Just a great all around, just useful. And this is light side territory battles, and all of these tags are pretty much the entire light side faction, like the whole side of the game. Max health for each rebel ally, max potency, 10% potency for resistance, and then he just spreads it around to everybody else. It's pretty incredible. And it's not something you really notice. It's not like a cool ability that you put a Zeta on, you instantly see the difference. It's kind of a passive ability that kind of goes unnoticed, but it's definitely there.
It's not only there. I mean, it definitely grants your team tons of bonuses. I mean, if you're running any Jedi out there, any clones, if you're running any rebels, any Phoenix characters, any Resistance characters, any droid characters. I mean, this guy is adding bonuses to all of those factions and more. And he's probably still one of the top... I mean, because of the Sith in Arena, you can't say he's top 5 anymore. But he's definitely one of the top 10 characters, I think, in this game overall, because of his ability to support his, the supporting cast. He's somebody who adds bonuses to the entire squad, and that's regardless of faction, basically, because he does aid so many different factions in this game. So R2-D2 number crunch is probably one of the top Zetas in the game, period, not just for dark side territory battles, but just in the game overall as well. But that's our number 5 light side territory battles Zetas. Or the number 5 Zeta for light side territory battles. Now moving along to number 4. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 4 is going to be CLS binds all things, right?
Yep.
CLS binds all things is the number 4 Zeta. Again, this is one that consistently makes lots of the lists, and for very good reason. And this is especially with him being a required character in this setup. You never have to platoon him, so he's always going to be an option for you to use. He's got 40% potency, and the Zeta gives whenever he resists a detrimental effect, he recovers 5% health protection. The Zeta, whenever he inflicts a debuff, and he has 2 on both his basic and his special, he grants 10% turn meter, he gains 10% turn meter and grants half that to other allies. And that 5% turn meter really does add up, again, because he has 2 debuffs on both of his attacks. So he can basically give 10% turn meter if he lands both times, and it really does add up over the course of a battle. Gets you lots of turns in, especially in a TB scenario where you're facing a big mob of characters, and then the turn meter carries over to the next wave of enemies as well. So it really adds up, and it's really helpful, especially in those special missions. That P6 special mission, where you face the AT, was it AT-AT?
The AT-AT, yeah. Yep.
It really comes in handy.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, he is an essential character for light side territory battles. Probably Still one of the most essential characters in the game, period, overall, and it binds all things. This is best Zeta out of the three. It's definitely the first Zeta you want to invest in CLS, period, for arena or for light side territory battles. And obviously the potency, the ability to recover, health and protection, and the turn meter increase, helps him tremendously. He's just overall a fantastic character, and this Zeta makes him that much better. And in light side territory battles, I've had many circumstances where it's come down to just Luke and 2 or 3 elites, sometimes even 4, and I'm able to pull it out because of the fact that Luke is just so OP in this game, and I'm able to just basically just plan it out correctly, and just take out a couple of characters there at the end, and pull out a turnaround victory when it looked like the chips were all down. So CLS definitely a hero in light side territory battles, and somebody you want to invest a Zeta into, and it binds all things is the best one. So that's number 4. Light side territory battle Zeta. Number 3 is Han Solo's shoots first. So, I mean, this is just tremendous. This Zeta was one that we've been clamoring for forever. We were hoping that Han Solo would get some sort of an increase in relevance in this game, because ever since he was released into the game, he really didn't have any viability. He was the first legendary character. Well, actually, not the first legendary character. He was the first raid reward character. And, he didn't really have anything other than the ability to shoot first, which was cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was able to stun a Jawa engineer to start the match and kind of freeze a droid team, which was his main function at first. But besides that, and the ability to hit pretty hard because he had some pretty good damage, he was a super squishy character, and he didn't have enough in his kit to really make or compensate for the squishiness of his health and protection. So now with this, he's able to attack twice. He reduces turn meter, and it's just night and day. Literally made him an unusable character into, probably at that time when the Zeta first came out, probably one of the best characters in the game. And for light side territory battles, this ability can help you get through some really tough rounds, especially because of how much damage that he does. He can help you get through some of those really tough rounds where you get stuck with, let's say, 5 elites and you don't know how you're going to get out of it. A Han Solo behind a CLS lead can definitely help turn that around.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at the start of every wave he gets the shoot first ability, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean that's that. Especially if you just have even just one elite, one of those annoying snowtroopers that just counter you to death. Like, you can just stun him and burst fire him down, get him out of the way. Because I mean, those snowtroopers, you let them live, and they start attacking and calling assists, they'll just wipe you out. I mean, they'll burn through your bays. You get 2 of them on the other side, those burn through bays, like just melt him. So you really got to be careful with some of those elites, like you said.
He's a table setter. He sets the table to start the encounter, and then allows you to choose which way you want to navigate through your opponents, which is fantastic.
Okay, real quick, a lot of people are asking about the light side TB. I posted the forum link in the chat there, so you guys can all check that out and see exactly what's going on. Because all I'm going to do is just paraphrase what they say anyway. So check out that. It's real short paragraph.